Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. In this series of videos, I'll take a rock or slab and I'll take you through my whole process of how I make a cabochon. This week, I have a piece of Idaho Sunset Jasper. Let's make a cabochon. I have here a piece of Idaho Sunset Jasper. This stuff is just gorgeous. This was donated by a viewer named Jacob from Idaho. He sent a bunch of rocks down, I think almost last year now, that had a lot of interesting stuff in there. I did a cabbing video on one rock he had in there, but he included this in there too. I've been kind of sitting on this for a while, and I figured, well, I think it's time to make a cabochon out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and with a trapezoid template here, and we're going to. It's going to go on this side here. I like to capture the green, the red, and the clear. And it's got some druzy pockets on both sides. This will be the show side here. So I'm kind of playing with it beforehand. I think we're just going to go up the side here like this. So I'm using an ultrafine Sharpie. There. So we'll take this downstairs. We'll cut it out on the trim saw, and then we'll take over the cabber and start making a cabochon out of it. So the template I used, this template here, I make these here. I got 30 shapes now on Etsy, and I don't know, they're not clear, but they're very durable. Nice plastic there, and I like them because every plate's got the same shape but different sizes. They stack up really nice like that. So you don't have all different size templates laying all over the place. So take a look at them. You might see something you like. And if you have a shape that you can't find anywhere, give me a shout. I'll take a look at it, and if I think it's worthwhile, I'll make a shape and it'll end up in my lineup here. So yeah. So anyway, we're going to take this downstairs and start processing it. So I'll see you down on the saw. So first stop is going to be my 2-auto 8-inch trim saw. If you're interested, I did a review on this saw here, and I'll put a card up on top up there if you want to punch on that and see what I have to say about this one. So we're going to trim this shape out here, and then we'll move on to the cabbing machine. Yeah, I don't want to waste any of this. There we go. Like I say, the more you trim, the less you got to grind, but you just got to be careful. I got a little close to this line here, but I think we're good. Let's move over to the cabbing machine. We've moved over to the Kingsley North 6-inch cabber here. Now I'm going to start with my 80 grit, and then move over to 220 grit, and then 80 grit, or 280 grit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work our way down to the line here. So we'll kind of rough it in on this guy. We'll take it to the line with this one here, and then we'll clean up the scratch marks with this one. So let's start grinding. All right, that's about as close as I want to get on that wheel. Let's move over to the 220 grit. All right, that's close enough on that one. Let's move over to the 280 grit. Okay, let's move it over to the dot pot. I'm going to throw it on there, heat it up, and we'll glue a stick on there, and then we'll make a cabochon out of it. We're all dopped up now. Basically all I'm doing is I'm gluing a dowel stick to the back of the stone with some lapidary wax. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to grind in what's called a girdle, and that'll kind of go up a little bit from the bottom, about an 1/8 inch, 2 millimeter-ish. And I go all the way around the cab with that. And we'll start that on the 80 grit, establish the girdle. And then once the girdle's established, then I'll start cutting towards the center of the cab, starting up here and then working my way. So let's get started. All right, kind of established the girdle here. You can see it as this flat line that goes all the way around the cab. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit this top edge right here and work my way towards the center of the cab, kind of making a rough dome. Now stay away from the girdle. You establish that. You don't want to be cutting into that anymore. All right, so I worked my way towards the center here, trying to find some light here. This light on this side here keeps dropping on me. So you can kind of see a rough dome. Go through this side, kind of see a rough dome going there. And so now I want to lower this a little bit, so I'm going to work on that, but then we're going to start doming it here. All right, I'm liking that. Let's move over to the 220 grit here. All right, looking good. Let's move on to the 280 grit. All right, looking pretty good. I'm not liking the color so far. Let's move on to the polishing side. Now we have moved over to the polishing side. I got a 600, a 1200, 3000, and a cerium oxide disc in the corner here. So let's start with the 600. All right, now we're going to move over to the 1200. Yeah, looking good. Let's move over to the 3000 grit. All right, let's see what we got going here so far. That's 3000. I'm going to run it on the cerium oxide, see what we can do there. So this is my cerium oxide disc. It's a sticky pad that sticks to a fold back, and that screws into the end of the shaft here. It's replaceable. It's not messy, and it works fairly well. So let's see what we can do here. See what we got going. There you go. Idaho Sunset Jasper. I'm going to take this and throw it in the freezer, and then we're going to take a really good close look at it. Let's see how we finished up here. Look at that. Beautiful shine. Cool pattern. Got a druzy pocket right there though, but that's just the way it is on this one. A little wax there. I might try to dig that out. Look at that. I just like this stuff because it's just, oops, it's just so colorful. You know, you got the green, red, yellow, and white basically. And I think, from what I understand, this stuff is, I'm not going to say impossible to find, but it can be hard to find sometimes because I think it only comes from one place in Utah, or not Utah, Idaho. So, yeah. Yeah, Jacob threw a bunch of different stones in the box. I think he does lapidary too, and he had some slabs in there, some small pieces, and you know, well, instead of letting them lay it around, I thought I'd do something with them. So this is the chunk I had left over here, and I'm going to probably cut that off and do something with this, and then do something with that right there. So when you're cutting your pieces out, you can kind of plan that ahead too, so you're not wasting anything. So there you have it. Idaho Sunset Jasper. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me make a cabochon out of this piece of Idaho Sunset Jasper. I made it from this to this right here. I think it come out pretty good. So this video comes out every Saturday, and then I got another video comes out every Wednesday where I cut 10 rocks in half and I make cabochons out of those. I don't show the cabbing process, but you can see the cabs in the video there. Like to thank the viewers and subscribers out there. I really appreciate the participation in this. The numbers keep going up, especially thank you for the subscribers. And I really would like to have your subscription. If I could, just go down below, punch on the subscribe button, and then slide over everybody and give me a thumbs up, because that gets the analytics out there so more people can find this content. And then you can hyperlink it, push the bell button for notifications, and share it. So I'm going to put up a playlist. I don't know. I can never remember if they go up and down. You'll see it. It'll be a playlist for all the videos in this series here, so you don't have to hunt around for them. You can watch. I think there's like 76 of them now. And then next week, got a piece of brachiated, if I said that correctly, Jasper, and that'll be the cab for the 77. So thanks for coming along and watching. I really appreciate it. That's all I got, and I'll catch you later.